Now, how
As
do
for me,
you
it was
boost? How do you boost your brand by increasingly 10 times using some unique digital strategies? So, over the years, we've had a couple of engagements, couple of recommendations. You know, the internet is a very busy place. So, different people share different opinions on a daily. Different people share different strategies on a daily. Different people share different opinions, things they feel should help. And the truth remains that for every business, there is a unique approach. All right. So what worked for a wig maker may not work for you, and it may also work for you. But everything on the internet requires testing and confirmation. All right. You don't just make recommendations without testing. So I usually would recommend that when you have some access to tools, strategies, and technology. So you should first of all get into tests and confirm before being so confident to pass across. So in over 12 years of experience, what I've always done before I come up to share or teach, because I'm more in the edu tech, all right, as a professional digital marketer, I am more in the edutech area. So I train and I teach a lot about the tools, the new discoveries, the access to new strategies and all. So by and out, before that can be brought out to train to any new set of people or business owners, I have to be sure that I have tested and confirmed that. So now, what are the unique things in 2024 that will be of benefit to your business, all right, that you can actually take advantage of and use it to grow your business more than you've ever been in. All right, so first thing here, we already know that we are discussing this today, and you already know my name is Timothy Anete. So I'm going to move into the unique thing. Let's start with Gartner's idea of internet activities, because if I want to ask anyone here, so let me ask, is there anyone here who says he has a business but goes on the internet just to post the business content for fun? You know, most people will say create awareness, make posts, gain visibility. So, my primary question would be, to what end? What is the primary interest in whatever action you are taking on the internet? Is it to just get people to see you, get people to know you, and then just leave it at that? Is that what you want? Occasionally, I will want you to unmute because I love interaction a whole lot. So, but apparently, that's not what a lot of people want. So, but a lot of people do not communicate exactly what they want, because the end result is always that I want to make sales, I want to get clients at the end of the day. That has always been the end result. All right. So, but then they will tell you that they are looking out for people who are going to, I mean, just they want people to know them, they want people to see them and all. So, if I bring it up here, Gartner says that digital prospecting, which is actually the activities to gain people to your platform, to get to know you and then to take them on a journey outside of that channel where you met them. So, primarily, prospecting is the first step of the sales process, all right, which involves identifying and contacting potential customers. The goal of prospecting is to create a database of likely customers. Now, this is it. As a UI and a UX designer, all right, as a wig maker, there are so many peculiarities. You are not the only one making wig. All right, as a school owner, you are not the only one running a school. As a matter of fact, I just signed up a school today for search engine optimization over to an India brand. All right, now what are they trying to do as a school owner? They are trying to gain a larger visibility on search engine because they know that people are actively looking for a school in their location, and then they have some different elements that they key in to figure out what particular school should be recommended for their children. Now, it's not just about a school in Surulere. It's not just a school in Lekki. It's not just a school in Aja. It's not just a school in Ikeja. All right, they have some key elements. All right, which when you get into your data analysis, you get to see all the necessary elements that people use in that particular business that you do when they are searching for information. All right, so when you get to data research and analysis, you get to see people like I just did a few today, and I realized that people are looking for a secure school in that location that my client is running her own school. A good school, a reliable school, all right, school with one of the best teachers, school with internationally accredited curriculum. All right, they have different data keyword. They have different keywords rather that they are using based on the data research I made today, and I figured out few things that my clients intending my client prospect rather are actually using to search for schools in that location. And I've worked with this particular client for a couple of times. And then, so when I realized that, I realized now for you running a school, these are part of the things that you should take seriously when considering digital prospecting and positioning. All right. So for someone making wig, there are several people who have wigs. Based on exchange rate at the moment, a lot of people are not able to easily buy new wig as it used to be a year ago, 2 years ago, and all that. So a lot of people are revamping their wig. All right. So you need to check what are people looking out for when it comes to wig. All right, when it comes to wig making, what are they looking out for? Are they looking out for slang? And then you should know that on the internet, and now every business should be able to segment their audiences. All right. This is how audience segmentation works. If you are a wig maker, you understand that you actually cannot sell to everyone on the internet. All right. First of all, you have the Gen Z body. The kind of wig that they love is not the kind of wig that someone in an office that is someone that works in a bank, for example, would want to wear to the bank because the Gen Z body would want more of colorful wigs. Have you been able to figure out all this? So you have to first of all sit down, analyze and segment your audience. That's the primary step you have to take because according to Gartner here, in your prospecting processes on the internet, you have to be able to identify and contact potential customers. Take note of those elements. So you are identifying and contacting only potential customers, not just random people. So you don't go out on the internet prospecting random people. All right. You don't send out your ad prospecting random people. You are identifying and contacting only potential customers. Now, potential customers are those whom you have identified to be in need of your service or product. All right. So once you have been able to identify this, the next thing, according to Gartner, is for you to create a database of likely customers. So now you have identified and then you've contacted the potential customer. Now create a database of likely customers. Now, this is it. Now, if you are selling to a Gen Z, your communication pattern definitely will be different as a wig maker. Now, if you are selling to the corporate ladies, your communication pattern would also have to be different. Now, if you are also selling to, we also have the wig that is for corporate and the wig that is for semi-casual and the wig that is for the body. So you have to be able to sit down and differentiate all these and segment them differently. Now, when you hear segmentation, it may sound like a big English. It can just be about you having three different WhatsApp group, all right, for three different audiences. You know that the kind of conversation you're going to be having with these people, and then you are not going to be sending such conversation to the corporate ladies. For instance, hey, my buddies, are you here? All right, it's weekend. How are you? How do you intend to rock out this weekend with your expressive wig? We have here in stock for you wig that speaks before you say a word. All right, wouldn't you want to go with that? This is one. Then you describe those wigs. Now you cannot refer to a corporate lady as, hey, buddy, no. Now you can go to the next group and then express based on their thought frequency, because you have to be able to speak at the same thought frequency with everyone whom you are trying to sell to. All right, you cannot try to sell to me and then try to talk to me as a buddy. All right, I will show you. So, first of all, the thought frequency must align. All right, you have to be able to speak to me at the same value level. All right. So now a buddy would buy from you because he sees you as one of them. All right. So the same thought frequency. He sees you as one of them, non-judgmental. Those are the people that any little thing you don't care about my mental health. They're actually abusing the mental health conversation in the country at the moment. So those are the category of people. They want people who actually fan their ego. They are not actually judging them. They appreciate the fact that they like those colorful hairs and all that. So speak to them in the language that they prefer to be spoken to. Meet them at the same thought frequency, and it will be easier for you to present your offer. All right. So the next thing is, now ignore the subject head there that says real estate. Now, this is actually applicable for almost every business. Whether you are selling wig, whether you are a tech agency, whether you are running a school, it applies for every business. All right. Now, the most important thing here is that you understand this shape, right? Now, for some of us who grew up, let's go. Now, for some of us who know about physical funnel that we use in transferring liquid, you understand that it looks like exactly this shape, right? Now, by and out, what you need to understand is that towards the base, down here is actually tinier. Now, the top is always wider. Now, even when you are passing liquid, for instance, if you are transferring liquid from your jerry can to your generator, you realize that when you put it inside the generator tank, okay, so when you pour the fuel excessively, even down here, there will be spills, all right? But then the same thing applies here. There is a lot of rush. As you are pouring it, a lot of liquid are pouring from this top because it's wider. And then because the down is tinier, there will be a spill if you pour so much. Now, same thing applies in your lead acquisition. Now, as a business owner, you understand that your daily task should be to generate good leads. That's what you it's required of you as a business owner. Your daily task is to generate good leads on a daily basis and engage them. All right. So by and out here, when they are coming in from your video, from your blog, from your Facebook, from your YouTube, from your website, from your Instagram, whichever way they are coming in from, they are going to be rushing in here because probably what you presented makes sense. Now, it's either you are redirecting them to your website or you are redirecting them to a landing page. Now, whichever platform you decide to use as a funnel, even if you are using Google Form to capture the lead, is still referred to as a funnel. Now, by and out, when your offer makes a lot of sense, a lot of people will be forced to rush in there. As you are rushing in there, two things are involved. All right. First, you are going to capture everyone who has interest. Now, at the point of capturing is a stage where you redefine the target. All right, that's a point where you do what we call lead qualification. You have to pre-qualify them before acquiring them. Now, when you pre-qualify them, you will know those who came in because they were too excited about the offer, and those who came in because they are really interested and they have the buying capacity. So instead of you to waste time talking to a whole lot of people who just have interests but do not have a buying capacity, at this point you now have access to people who have buying capacity and also have interests. So buy and out, two things here make better influence in what you do as a business. All right. So, first of all, set up a unique funnel. If you're going to boost your business sales on the internet, set up your lead acquisition funnel. All right. So that when every activities you make on the internet is done, you will know that you are redirecting them somewhere. All right. Don't just leave them at a point of no action. All right. People will read until you tell them what to do. They will not do it. All right. So when you've been able to capture them, the next thing here is actually at the point of activation. This is actually a long conversation. I told you one of the challenges we have in a country like Nigeria is the fact that we are so eager to sell. All right, everyone is interested in converting that customer they just acquired. All right, that lead rather that they just acquired. So I just met you. I've not trusted you. Only that I saw your product. It's beautiful. All right, I saw your offer. I saw your service, and it's nice. And then I just got to know you. And the next thing you're asking me, can I send the account details? I don't trust you yet. You've not even said a thing or two to me. All right, and then we've not done anything to bond. All right, so at this point here, the next thing you need to do is to activate them, build a relationship, offer them. There is something called reciprocity. All right, build a relationship, educate them in your line of business and the line of interest that they have in your business. All right, the next thing there is to strike a conversation. Now, there's a difference between activation and conversation. Activation happens at the customer journey where you let them understand that you value them. All right, at the active conversation stage is where you actually activate the conversation proper. All right, so now before you present your offer, I'm going to move a bit forward now. All right, so when you are trying to make actions or activities on the internet, I know the end result is actually to generate sales, but the primary thing you need to understand is that it's a game of number. Don't just go there and believe that whatever you post, you are going to make an immediate sale. Now, first of all, understand that if you want to make 10 sales, you have to speak with at least 100 to 200 people. So, usually, personally, I work with 2% conversion ratio, which means that I have to speak with 1,000 people. All right. So, but if you are going to be working with 10% ratio, or you can actually work with 100 contacts. But then sales is a game of number. Don't be eager. So you have to generate enough leads to convert enough results. Okay, so buy and out here in your effort to sell, please don't sell product, don't sell service, sell state of mind and sell your value. All right, for instance, if you are going to be selling wig, let them see how amplified the wig is. All right, all right. So how you can get the weak to make a pronouncement on their behalf, how you can make the weak to make expression rather on their behalf, how the school would mold future leaders in the children they are bringing to the school. All right. How the school can transform the family setting that they already have into having a uniquely built based on what you are presenting. Okay, so and then the next option would be that you are selling the end results, not really the product. For instance, as a tech agency, if you are asked to actually build up for me a software that will handle the accounting system of my firm, what I am looking out for is that you are going to help me handle my accounting system in a way that I'm not going to lose my funds to sales girls anymore. Or you are going to also help me build the system that analyzes my data in the sense that once I click, I can know my expenditure, and I can also know my income for the month. It helps me to balance my sheet easily. All right. And I don't have to keep doing the manual thing. You have to Everything you are going to be presenting must be that you are offering me a value that saves time. You're offering me a value that speaks the state of mind I have. For instance, I've been angry that I'm not able to figure out the sales, the income, and the expenditure. For example, as a business person, if that's what the person is going through, or the person is having this inferiority complex in his appearance, and he knows that when he wears a wig that really fits, it will amplify his appearance and make his mood to immediately spring up. All right. So by and out, whatever you are going to be offering, be sure that you are offering the right thing. All right. Okay. The next thing here would be positioning in values instead of prospecting. I started off by actually saying that you have to prospect. All right. Now this is it. 90% of the time, people who discover you will buy faster than people whom you sold to. So if you go to YouTube at the moment and type how to sell to the rich in Nigeria, you will see some of my videos. If you type, because I do more in the real estate sector, I train more of realtors, and I train more of real estate professionals. If you type how to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora, 90%, I mean, the first five videos will be mine. If you also type real estate strategies to sell properties in Nigeria, you will see a lot of my videos as well. Now, these are what we refer to as digital strategy, I mean, digital positioning. Now, if I go to the same YouTube and type a tech agency in Nigeria to patronize, would I find you? If I go to see wig maker in Lagos on Google, would I find you? Or in any location you are, would I find you? All right, so these are ways to position. You have to intentionally build a way to position and get discovered. All right, as someone who is a UI and UX design, if I'm looking for a UI and UX designer, would I find you? All right, so by and out, I'm going to ask you to take up your time and be sure that you actually position in value going forward, and you actually activate what would help your intending customer to discover you without you running after them. So two things: for you to prospect, it means that you have to be the one identifying and going after them, and then for them to come to you, it means that you have to position in value, and then they will have to see that you have exactly what they are looking for, and they will come to you. So the last option is always the best. All right. So the digital trust chain. So on the internet, people buy from those they trust. Now, and this is a fact. People buy from those they trust. So, by and out, you have to be able to send a positive signal in the mind of the people. So they will easily buy from you when they trust you. So, what do I mean? Now, to gain the right visibility, build authority, be human, and have all this stated here, it takes a lot of task. First of all, to gain visibility, you don't gain visibility by just being noisy on the internet. Now, there is something called bad and good publicity. I'm sure every one of us already know that. But then, possibly, publicity is good, but don't be on the bad side of it. To gain the right visibility, you can see that I didn't just say gain visibility, I said the right visibility. To gain the right visibility in your area of business or interest, it simply means that you have to consistently communicate your values, and then you have to identify the platform where your intending customers would be always plying on the route. So now when I discovered that Facebook is actually not the place I want to fully dominate, I had to take a walk and I started using a different platform. Yours can be Instagram, yours can be LinkedIn, it can be Facebook, it can be Twitter. All right. So, but the most important thing is that be sure that you are building the right visibility. For example, you can actually communicate over 1,000 ways to maintain weak. You can communicate over 500 ways to identify original wig. All right, for I'm talking to the person that actually makes wig or sells wig, and then for the person that runs a school, you can actually communicate thousands of ways you can mold a student. I mean, an outstanding child from the basic one to where they get to the university, the basic foundation they need. You can communicate all this, and this will put your school as one of the best in the location when they've seen the values that you have communicated. As a UI designer, you can communicate all the basic integrations that are required to make every UI unique or to make every UX very friendly. All right. So you can actually get to communicate all these. In all of this, to stay visible, it boils down to content. All right, it's one of the reasons people would always tell you that content is king. All right, and it has never gone outdated. Content remains king because for you to build an effective and right visibility, you are going to be amplifying your content. All right. So the next thing here is build authority. All right. So no one actually wants to work with people whom they perceived is inexperienced. All right. For instance, even you yourself, if you want to make a new cloth now and then you hear that this person has just learned tailoring and he has never sewn for anyone before, you'll be skeptical. All right, you will want to see what has it done. That's actually why people request for portfolio. Can I see your portfolio? All right. Now you have to be able to build that authority when you communicate as an authority in your niche. Sharing your journey, it will make it easier for people to trust you. All right, be human. Nobody actually wants to work on the internet with a robot. How many of us were aware when Uche from Bolt were in place. I mean, was actually left when he resigned. Yeah, I think that's the right word. When he resigned from Bolt, it was very, very pronounced. In fact, it trended on Twitter for more than 3 days. And why did it trend? Because Uche was a very short name that everyone could relate. And then the brand made it very human. So a mail will come to you like 2 to 3 times a day. Uche from Bolt, Uche from Bolt, Uche from Bolt. And it was always constant. And then it became very, unconsciously, people got used to it. So that's how psychology works. By the time they see things more than once, they stick with it. And by the time they are trying to have a disconnection, there is a reaction. So in your business, you have to learn to integrate human psychology into it. And this is why banks like is it Sterling Bank that is using Kiki? All right, they adopt short name. They don't want to start using names that are long to pronounce and or probably that are not easily pronounced by all races or all tribes and ethnicity. So it's easy, Kiki, anybody can pronounce it. And then another one uses another particular bank also uses another name that is very short. So by and large, what am I trying to say? Be human. So if you receive my mail, it's always Tim from MLA. So there has to be a human behind the mail that you receive. It doesn't have to be Marketing Lab HQ. All right, it doesn't have to be Marketing Lab Africa. There has to be human feel that comes with it. All right, team from MLS. So it pronounces that there is someone called Timothy that sent this mail, and then you are actually subconsciously relating with Timothy without even considering that. All right, but the next day you receive Tim from MLS. You remember that yesterday Tim from MLS also sent you a mail. All right, but if it comes from Marketing Lab HQ, you may feel it's one of those generic content. So people want to relate with human. So be sure that in your brand communication, you actually integrate a human feel to it. All right, and have a routine. Okay, have a routine. There is something called routine in marketing processes and journey. You don't just have to wake up like what Vesta has tried to do now is that they have I think a monthly um, webinar where they get to engage people like this, and that's a routine. All right, you can have same as well. In my routine, I have a monthly physical training as well as webinar as well, so for a specific audience though. All right, so you can create a routine where you get to speak with people, show real data, don't be a motivational speaker. All right. Now, in real data, you have to show what they lost and what they stand to gain. For instance, as a school owner, you have to show why a child may be dull if the foundation isn't laid properly in a good school. And or you have to also show data that proves that. And you can also show data of what they stand to gain when they go through the right foundational system in a good school. And then you make recommendation at your call to action in your own school, all right, recommending them to try your school. And then this builds a unique authority, and then you've shown data because nothing beats data, all right. And then when your data source is unique, trust me, you are going to have an upper hand and show your social proof. It's not enough to say that you have done this. You have to show that people you have done for have said something positive about what you've done. All right, so let there be social proof. Social proof is more like testimonials. Show them. Don't be shy to show them. Always be glad to show them. All right, bring it on, bring them up every now and then. Show social proof. Okay, all right. Now, before you move in to activate your art. We have talked about the manual processes. Now, to activate your art before you move in. All right. I would have asked you to ask your question, but then since we have 10 minutes for you to ask question, I'm going to run through the next 4 minutes and give you that space to ask questions afterwards. All right. So at this stage, by and out, before you activate your ad, the ad system keeps changing every day. In fact, if you check the objectives of Facebook Ad Manager, you realize that a lot has been rearranged from what it was 2 years ago, and it keeps happening that way. So, first of all, understand that we have the conventional and unconventional kind of arts. All right, and then in media buying, that is advertising, we call it the generic coverage campaign. All right, now that is when categorizing the conventional art comes in. So by and out, so the generic coverage campaign and the categorized campaign are actually what will make your campaign conventional and unconventional. Everyone can just you can just easily do post boosts, and that can be referred to as a very conventional campaign, post boosts. And then you just send to people you have not identified. You just send to people you've not defined your audience. All right, you don't even know the target audience that you intend to send your campaign to. You just send it to just anybody. All right, so at this point, what we're going to be getting is generic, all right, coverage. You're going to be having generic coverage, no predefined audience at all. So it's regarded as a conventional. So unconventional, you have already sat down and you have identified whom your audience is and whom you're going to be targeting. All right, and you're going to be sending the right kind of information to them and then bringing them into your system. And then we have some key things that you should take advantage and know at the ad manager. So first of all, you have to define, this is for the unconventional. You have to define the goal of your campaign. All right, who the ad will be directed to, all right, how long it will run, locations it will cover, the number of persons it will reach, all right, the number of leads it will generate, the result the lead will generate. For digital marketers, when we are going to be preparing your media buying um, campaign sheet for the company you are trying to work for, you have to highlight all these and then state them. All right. So digital media buying process is actually broad. It's not just about opening Facebook and then clicking on ad manager and moving on to it. So this is actually where people have it wrong. All right. And if you keep using people who just bear the tag digital marketer, you are going to lose a lot more on the internet. All right. You have to be able to identify people who actually understand what they are doing and who know exactly what they are doing as well. So by and out, at this point, you have to be sure that you have highlighted, analyzed, and reviewed every of your process. You have to pick your research time because you don't just pick your PC and go to Ad Manager. There has to be a research time, all right, and then there has to be the implementation time. So all these are done at your research time, all right, before you get to implement. Now, getting to implement. Um, is actually what kind of creative will strike a chord in this audience mind. For instance, you are a wig maker. I told you you have to define and segment your audience. What kind of target are you targeting? What kind of audience are you targeting rather? Is it the Gen Z? And the funniest thing is that they are the ones that buy more wig at the moment. So if you're going to be targeting them, you know their age range, all right? And then you know where they usually are. You know the channel that you can dominate. All right. Some of these Gen Z, you'll find them more on Instagram and TikTok. More, you don't have to waste your a lot of energy on Facebook. And then if you are targeting more of the corporate people, you know that you should channel your campaigns to LinkedIn as well as Facebook as well. And then if you are going to be targeting, if your product is to sign up the crypto boys, you know that you're going to be heading to Twitter. So you have to first sit and highlight all the audiences and where they are, how you going to meet them and how you're going to serve their interest. So it's big. It's not just about you working on assumption. What art objective will give you the right result? First of all, we have different objectives from awareness to engagement to lead to sales and many other options there. So you have to know which one would give you the right result that you need. After your research, you have to spend time and understand if you are doing a direct sales campaign that you want to just sell your wig directly using sales campaign, you can use your sales objective. All right. If you want to generate a lead so that you can engage them, the lead campaign is there, and engagement to your WhatsApp. If you're going to actually redirect them to your WhatsApp, it's also there. You can use the engagement objective. All right. So what interests and behavior in detailed targeting will give you the right results. So under detailed targeting, that's where you can actually define their behavior and their interests. All right. From there, you can define what interests them. You can define their behavior on the internet. You can define their job titles and all. All right. So this will help you to tell the ad platform how to serve your audience, the campaign. All right. So what placement should you use? All right. So now we have different placement. We have Instagram there. If you're going to be using Facebook campaign, if you're going to be using Meta Art, we have the Instagram placement, we have the Facebook placement, we have Messenger placement, we have the third party placement as well. That is the what's it called there? But it's actually a third party that displays on some sites and all that. So now, what should the campaign be optimized for? So based on your audience, if it's going to be optimized for sales, if it's going to be optimized for lead, if it's going to be optimized for landing page view, if it's going to be optimized for engagement. So by and out, all these are going to be informed by the kind of audience you are going to target and by your defined action here, what you have done, what are the goals. All right, so these are actually where you predefine your goals. Okay, so once you have done your entire homework here, it will be very easy for you to serve their interest, capture the right lead, capture the right content, so they send the right content to them, and then communicate the right offer and make the right sales. And then it's actually a game of numbers, like I have said. And the more people you reach, the more your chance of 10 times to your chance to 10 times your sales. Okay, so at this point, I want to take your question. Like you already know, my name is Timothy Anete, and if you want to connect with me on all social media, Timothy Anete is there, and you can also connect with me, my brand Marketing Lab HQ, and go to my YouTube. Please add HQ Marketing Lab HQ. Go to my YouTube. And look for go to YouTube and look for Timothy Anetia, and then you'll see a lot of my content. Please subscribe, and then let's have a journey together. From there, you can learn a lot from my channel. Please ask your question, and back to you, Sylvester.
All right, thank you, Mr. Timothy. I think we have less than 5 minutes to. Okay, somebody is having a question. Mr. Joe Bassi, yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, very
Yes, we
well,
can hear you.
perfectly.
Everyone, and thank you so much, Mr. Timothy, for this in-depth knowledge that you sharing. My question is, seeing that for someone like us, that someone like me that's into the design field, how do we target, especially when you have a course and you're trying to get people to come to that course, and you don't want people that are mediocre. Now only come to your webinars at the same time after you teaching them for free and the rest, and you're trying to get their attention to get that course because you know it's going to give a good benefit to them. How do you, if I don't want to use the other of using this target marketing, what kind of marketing can I do to get them to buy the course?
All right, so by and out, don't just get people to your WhatsApp if you have a digital course that you want to that you are selling. All right, first of all, get a simple landing page that captures lead. All right, don't do a direct sale. Capture the lead there, pre-qualify them, ask them if they can afford the offer that you are. In one of my pages, I simply asked, "This training is 75,000 naira. Are you able to pay?" So you ask a direct question. If it is a no, you know the people that are not supposed to get much of your time. And at the same time, trust me, don't just stop at the point where you have sent them messages or when you have engaged them on the webinar. All right, 90% of the people on the webinar may not buy, but if you have 100 people, it may be that you're going to be selling to 10. Only 10 people will buy after the webinar. It could be depending on the offer. So it's why they say that sales is more of numbers. So if you want to sell 100, have the webinar for 1,000. All right. So the more people you engage, the more your chances of selling. You will not sell to every one of them. Not everyone there that attended the webinar will buy, but have a good percentage converted based on your presented offer and your pre-qualified acquisition. All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question, please?
Okay, while I'm waiting for others to, ask their question, I think I have three questions. You talked about don't sell products, sell value to customers. So I think the question here is how do we sell or position ourselves as valuable to a customer that doesn't know us? Because the internet is very wide and there could be a lot of people that give you substandard product or services or even fraud on your feed. How do you present yourself to to give an impression that you are valuable and also win trust from the customer? So that's my question.
All right, become a prophet. In this part of the world, let me use the aspect that we are a bit religious. So you realize that while people go to a prophet, one of the reasons people believe prophet a whole lot is because they tell them a lot about their problems and they make recommendations for their solution, right? So the same thing applies in your business. You have to understand what they are going through and write about the problems that you have understood. Then make recommendations for the solution, but don't give them the solution until they've paid you for the solution. Now, this is it. You have understood what they are going through as a business person, and then you know that you have the solution. You communicate their problem, you communicate what the solution to their problem should be. Now you have presented yourself as a prophet who already analyzes the problem they are going through. Now you've also make recommendations as a prophet who says if you do this, you are going to get out of it. At this point, they have seen you as a prophet. They will not run to another church, meaning that they will not go to another business, to another provider to seek for the solution. You were the one that identified this problem that they are going through, and you're also the one that have made good recommendations for the solutions. Now, if you can know that they are going through this, and if you can make these recommendations free without them asking, it simply means that you not asking them to pay anything before you made this analysis and recommendation. It means that if they pay you, they are also going to get a lot more from you. So at this point, you have presented the value by first of all analyzing their problem and making the right recommendations for the solution, and that's the value that you've presented there. And then on the streets, you have strategically stayed on the street where you know that they are going to drive by, or when you know they are going to walk by, and as they are walking by, you are conspicuously identified. And when they see that problem that they have clearly displayed, and then there's a recommendation for a solution also stated, they will pay attention to reach out, and that's positioning, that's digital positioning. So what does that mean? People who have problems that you have a solution for are increasingly searching the internet for a solution on a daily. And when they find you as one of those who has communicated that solution, they will definitely come to you to get it from you. All right. So that's how to sell value rather than selling a product. I don't know if that answers your
All right.
question.
Yes, yes, very well. Thank you for that. I think I want to ask one more. But before I do, I don't know if there's anyone that have question to ask. I think I can see some people will stay with us here. Um, so I don't take all the questions away. Okay, if while waiting for that, I think if you have a question, you can raise your hand, then I can pause. So, from what you said, one of the important things for us to get is lead, to generate a lead and then create a bond with them, and then obviously at the end of the day, win them over as a customer. My question here is, how do we get a lead in our different field? I know the way I, as a tech agency owner, goes about getting it will be different from someone that owns a school or someone that into fashion design and the rest. So how do we get a good lead? Because there's lead and there's bad lead, there's good lead. How do we get leads that can potentially be a customer? Thank you.
All right. So by and out, the first thing to consider is your location. For a school that you referenced, you know that you cannot be in Surulere and get a lead from someone who lives in Lakwe. So the first thing you need to do is that you have to do the educational based, I mean, sorry, yeah, educational based marketing, but also locational based marketing. So geographically on the media buying space, you can directly target Surulere. It's going to be a very tiny audience because of your kind of business. It's location based, except you offer a broad audience kind of. You can have your school virtually and all. But if it's going to be a school in a place like Surulere, for example, so it's going to be locational based. So what is recommended is that when you are setting up your campaign for lead, you have to specifically let them mention their location, so that when you are going to be engaging them, you don't waste your time. So, and you're going to be targeting only people in Surulere. Use your paid ad as much as you're going to be using your organic ads. All right, you can use your organic campaign and paid campaign, but in all of this, how to identify a good lead is a lead that you generate based on the value you have presented. Now, as a school, how do you present the right value? So I made references to you educating on how to build the right educational foundation for a child. All right, who has just registered interest in your academy and how to give them a better future through your school. And then when you do that, you are going to have them captured as a parents into your school. All right, thank you.